All right, all right, all right, all right. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Herman says Grand Rising. I just want to say every time I hear the word Grand Rising, it's funny and wonderful. Grand Rising, my brother. Good morning, everybody. I just want to say you are tuned to the Madam President Morning Show. Thank you so much for being here with me. I definitely feel like it's early, although it's 9:30 in the morning. You know how some people say, I start my day at 5 a.m. I do not. I do not start my day at 5 a.m. So I would just like to say that there is some things that's happening in the world. You already know Trump has been in office and he has been sprinting, okay? He is not running a marathon in politics. He is sprinting. He is going very fast on all things political. And we just had a tragedy last night. A very challenging tragedy. And I'm going to talk about it. But of course, you know, I always forget to do a step. I skip a step, but I'm going to bring it back. I got a good person with me today, too. We have a guest on the Madam President Show because we want to get your money in order, get your finances right. I have a guest for you. But before I move forward, let me play my theme song. Every morning that has got to get me right. I don't know about you. Let me know where you all are from this morning. I don't see some of my faithful, so I just want to know my people in the building and let me know where you're from. It's a lot going on in the world, but don't forget that we are in this together day by day. We are constantly moving and striving and going in the right direction. Before we go any further, I just want to say a quick prayer. Of course, this is the Madam President Morning Show, but without God's grace, without the Creator's approval, this doesn't happen. So Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for waking us up this morning. We know that there is a lot going on in the world. We just ask for your continuous protection. We ask for your direction. We ask for your know-how as we continue to navigate all these different things that's happening in this world. We believe that it's still in your hands. We thank you for your grace and your mercy, and we love you. Give us peace on this day. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, amen. All right. We got San Diego. Layla, are you from San Diego? I'm looking at the comments. I'm trying to see where everybody's from. All right. I'm going to move on really quickly. We know what we're talking about this morning. We are talking about what is happening, what everyone is talking about, what is happening, what happened with the Black Hawk helicopter mid-air collision with American Airlines. And this is really, it's not a great sight to see. And I found, I just want to read to you what some of the preliminary conversation was surrounding this. So here it is right here. I don't know if you all have seen this. I want to make sure that I show you. It's right here. Let me see. Mid-air collision right there. I mean, I know that it's a little distracting because you see one plane that's completely taken off that's high, but there behind that is another two planes, the Black Hawk helicopter, as well as the American Airline flight. And the Black Hawk helicopter looked as if it came directly to the airline. To read some of the additional reports that's going on with this, I would like to share with you all that I'm going to get the other content associated with what's happening as well. I'm going to share my screen again. I'm going to share And if you all can see, just say, I can see in the chat, American Airlines
Hello, everyone.
has made.
I'm Robert Isom, the CEO of American Airlines. I want to brief you on a serious accident that occurred involving an American Eagle aircraft. The aircraft was operated by PSA Airlines, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of American Airlines. First and most importantly, I'd like to express our deep sorrow about these events. This is a difficult day for all of us at American Airlines, and our efforts now are focused entirely on the needs of our passengers, crew members, partners, first responders, along with their families and loved ones. I know that there are many questions, and at this early stage, I'll not be able to answer all of them, but I do want to share the information I have at this time. American Eagle Flight 5342, operated by PSA Airlines, a CRJ 700 aircraft traveling from Wichita, Kansas to Washington Reagan National Airport, has been involved in an accident near Washington, D.C. It appears to have collided with a military aircraft on approach. Flight 5342 was under the command of 4 crew members and carried 60 passengers for a total of 64 people on board. We are actively working with local, state, and federal authorities on emergency response efforts, and the American Airlines care team has been activated to assist our passengers and their families. We're cooperating fully with the National Transportation Safety Board in its investigation and will continue to provide all the information we can. Our cooperation is without pause, and we want to learn everything we can about today's events. That work will take time, but anything we can do now, we're doing. And right now, that means focusing on taking care of all passengers and crew involved, as well as their families. Members of our GO team will be on
I just would like to say that it's very, we can talk all the international affairs, we can talk about all the politics, but we don't want to have people lose their lives as a casualty in what's happening in this country. We don't have a clue of what's going on. We have such a disruptive climate in this country right now. We can't trust the words of anyone half the time. Trying to dissect what is of truth and what is not finds it could be very challenging. But I want you to all to take a look at some of the other content stated surrounding this as well. Donald Trump is basically loud and very much saying that, hey, this shouldn't have never happened. It seems as if, this, I don't know if he was insinuating that.
Despite all those efforts, we are now at a point where we are switching from a rescue operation to a recovery operation. At this point, we don't believe there are any survivors from this accident. And we have recovered 27 people from the plane and 1 from the helicopter. The district office of the medical examiner has lead on reuniting these bodies and these people with their loved ones, and we will continue to work to find all the bodies and collect them and reunite them with their loved ones. We should also acknowledge that the Virginia medical examiner and the Army medical examiner are involved in this operation and a very important part of getting people identified. Despite all those efforts, we are now at a point where we are switching from a rescue operation to a recovery operation. At this point, we don't believe there are any survivors from this accident.
All right, so another step here is going to share what Donald Trump says. The airplane was on a perfect and routine line of approach to the airport. He says the helicopter was going straight at the airplane for an extended period of time. It is a clear night. The lights on the plane were blazing. Why didn't the helicopter go up or down or turn? Why didn't the control tower tell the helicopter what to do instead of asking if they saw the plane? This is a bad situation that looks like it should have been prevented. Not good. Oh my God. Well, first of all, we know it's not good because the people are talking about they are recovering bodies. We know that it's not good. It's not good. We understand that. I just would like to say that a Trump climate is going to be tough. And when I say that, I mean that in the context of what's happening globally. Is my friend who works on the federal level is telling me that people who are in positions of power feel empowered behind this man's presidency. If they are immoral and, and violent, or have this sense of rage, it does not slow down behind a person in power that can fuel that. So all that to say that I don't know, I haven't, but this made me think about, what airlines are actually safe. I went behind when I heard this story. American Airlines, I don't ever remember a time where American Airlines had a collision or a plane disappear. So I just was like, a lot of times when I'm traveling, I like to travel Delta. And I'm like, is Delta a safe airline? And then I found this list that says that the safest airline, Delta, is like 22. So I was like, what? So I wanted to share you all what I found about what's considered the safest airlines. So here is an article that talks about the airlines and what makes them safe. I'm trying to go up and down on this article. Can you all see? Okay, I think you can. So this article says top 20 safest full service airlines in the world. Airlines are evaluated based on a combination of critical factors such as fleet age, pilot skills, safety protocols, fleet size, and the number of incidents. These are the top 20 safest full service airlines in the world. Air New Zealand. I've never been on an Air New Zealand flight. Have you? But, New Zealand's supposed to be pretty safe in general. I don't know what routes they have. Qantas, Cathay Pacific, Qatar, Emirates, Virgin Australia. All of these are international airlines. We don't even start touching the airlines to number 15. And number 15 is American Airlines, supposedly based on this list, is one of the safer airlines. British Airways is 17. Air Canada is 20. I'm looking for Delta. I'm looking for my favorite airline. It ain't even hit it, And then it says top 20 safest low-cost airlines in the world. Okay. Frontier is on there at 5. Southwest is 9. JetBlue is 17. I was just like, what? And so it says Spirit Airlines was notably absent after filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The insight into airline safety, a recent study revealed that between 2018 and 2022, the global death risk per flight boarding was approximately 1 in 13.7 million. That means that it's very unusual for a flight to have mayhem and mishap to the point where someone is killed. But I would never, or someone dies, or there's collision, etc. But even with all of that, I would like to say that I am never one of those people who believe that, a flight can go up and it can't go down. So every time I get on a plane, I ask for traveling grace and mercy. And I just ask most of all that if this is the time for this plane to go down, that God gives my family the peace that's required to live a long and lasting life, and know that my spirit is well. So I always say that particular prayer when I'm traveling. It's like we have the tendency to just get on a plane and just assume that we're getting to our destination. And I think that when we have instances like this, no matter the cause behind those instances, we are reminded that, it is a blessing it is a lot of gratitude that goes into getting to the destination. So all that to say that I have a guest today. I'm done talking. I'm done talking about airlines and airline safety. I do not want you to forget that this is brought to you by flynubianmoney.com. It's important that you know that this is brought to you by flynubianmoney.com. In fact, text Queens to 87948. Again, text Queens to 87948. Again, text Queens to 87948. I saw a little bit of a delay as I was talking. It looked kind of crazy. So sorry about that. But I want to make sure that I bring my beautiful friend and expert in finance and money. You know, I'm talking about money with flynubianmoney.com. And if you want to change your life, change your habits, everything, I think you should text Queens to 87948. You want to keep up with what's going on with the network, who's coming on, who's going off. This is a good way to stay connected. But I am here with my sister, and she knows what she's talking about, okay? We have Asia Kirkendall. I want to make sure I get her name right, the last name, because, you know, I went to public school. And I just would like to say that, you know, when you talk about people who know what they're talking about, she is in that number. She is a person who is 100% overqualified. She is going to blow your mind as it relates to just getting your mind right financially. This is the time, y'all. This is the time. All these different financial conversations are happening, but this is the time to really get it in order to a place where, you know, our better years are like, you know, our better years, we're not going younger. We're not getting younger. We're getting older. So everything that we supposed to apply now is the time. So Asia, thank you so much for being on the Madam President Morning Show. I just want to welcome you, my friends online. We welcome you. How are you this morning?
Man, I'm doing good. And like you, I do not get up at 5 a.m. Okay. So I'm doing good, nice and refreshed this morning, you know, slept well.
Okay, good. I'm so happy. So tell me about ACE Financial Matters. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so with ACE Financial Matters, basically, we just go into different schools and different organizations that serve high school and college age students. And we host workshops for these young adults to help them build their new wealth mentality. Because, you know, a lot of the times we've come around each other, you know, at the ABNC conference, the All Black National Convention, you know, it's mostly adults. There are lots of kids there too. But with this conversation about money mindset, I realized that it spans all the way down from 6 years old up to 80 plus with my grandma and them. And it's really a universal topic, no matter where you are on that age spectrum. Because in our society, you know, financial literacy, as if that was enough anyways, they still don't teach it. And so really working with the high school and college students, that's the chance for me to get in right at the perfect place before they go into the workforce and the mass society to get programmed with all these money beliefs that we're working on.
What is one of the most challenging money beliefs, or not challenging, but what is a common money belief that you see in the high school sector?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, with the high school, I feel like because of the social media era and the changing of wealth opportunity that we have to build wealth, like with the internet and with social media and even with AI, that's something I thought about too. Like there's more opportunities to build wealth and they see it all. And I feel like they see it in a narrow niche. And so I feel like for that age group, the challenges is opening them to up all the other opportunities there are to build wealth, like some of the older industries or, you know, some of the things they may not think about because it's not on their algorithm on social media.
I like that because even for myself, you know, I frequently think about, okay, I want to build wealth. I want to make money. I want to figure out the best way. And have you ever considered that personality? Some people don't have the personality that is required to go into some of the things. Like, for example, if I'm a talkative person, you know, and I got this personality that it's one way. I don't feel like I can do what my partner does, which is be an accountant. Like I don't feel like I have the magnitude.
Yeah.
A spreadsheet would knock me out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do children also, or young people, do they feel kind of, basically, do professions and money align with personality as well?
I absolutely agree with that. And I think that's a part of the education that is missing from the public schools, because also, like you, I also went to public school. And so, when they took the trades out, we're not learning hands-on trades. Not every kid wants to go to college. And even if they do, has the opportunity to go to college. And so with the trade exploration in the high schools, with the opportunity to explore your personality in college, if you don't have those two, and you don't have like a parent or a mentor that's actively exposing you to all the opportunities that are out there, or looking at your personality and suggesting things based off that, I feel like there's room for every personality type in any angle, like whether it's business or you're an employee for somebody. If you want to be in front of the scenes or behind the scenes, like if it's tech, you can find a way to be in front or behind. If it's accounting, you can be in front or behind. So
I like that.
Similar to the money conversation that I've discovered in this quantum wealth theory, everybody's unique. And so when you talk about financial advice coming from a professional advisor or a wealth manager, realize that they have a different lens than you do, different experience, different background, different desires. And so with quantum wealth theory, one of the main points is that we're all unique. And so especially our background and experience and our mental programming around it. And so it's going to take you and only you to do the self-reflection work, to ask yourself the questions, to pay attention to the thoughts that come up, pay attention to habits that come out, and reflect on those to understand your personality or your money personality, to really look outside and say, okay, now what strategy is going to match best with me? Because you may be surprised or not that not a whole lot of people really like know themselves for real to know, what job or position is going to fit best with my personality.
Wow. Well, I think that's really good. So let me ask you this. How do you quantum wealth theory, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Tell me more about that. What exactly is a quantum wealth theory?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm glad you asked, because I'll skip over the details of my background and the points in my childhood where I realized that my single mom, as she struggled with money, she repeated things that ended up giving me a poverty mentality. Like, we don't have enough, we can't afford it. Other people can have these experiences, but we can't because we don't have enough. That was her experience. And so that's what I heard growing up. And so as a kid, I started to hoard money because being fearful of it, that we're not going to have enough, I started to hoard it. And so as a kid, my mom looked at me and she thought I was a good saver, and what meant I was good with money. So she told me, Asia, you're good with money, go to school, get the degrees, get the good job so that you don't have to struggle financially like we do. And so I did exactly that. I got a bachelor's in accounting. I got a master's in finance. And so I say that to say that learning that technical financial literacy, they taught us about business finances at those institutions. They didn't teach me about personal finance and how to measure what I truly want, how to reflect on my habits, how to, understand what's stopping me from reaching the goals that I had. And so in 2017, it was a Achilles tendon injury that ultimately led me to researching this quantum wealth theory. And I had just bought my house the year before. I had the degrees and the job. And so I was confused at why I had to charge this $5,000 for surgery on credit, because I had no savings and I was making no progress towards my goals. So 2017, I'm laid up with my cast and I asked the question, what are the wealthy 1% doing? What do they know? What are they missing that everybody else is missing? Because it's not financial literacy. That wasn't the missing piece.
Okay.
And so asking that question for 3 years, I did nothing but straight research. And it came down to 3 different things that the wealthy do and that everybody else is missing.
Okay.
Number 1 is business and tax strategy, because taxes are the number 1 expense in America. Number two, it's life insurance, understanding that there's more than just death benefit, there's living benefit, and you can use these life insurance tools to benefit yourself while you're living. And then lastly, that's what the quantum wealth theory is all about. And it's what I saw people would mention often, but they didn't break down to really say a wealth mentality. They say you need a wealth mentality. You got to have a wealthy mindset to get rich, like the 1%. But I didn't see where they were actually breaking down, how do I build a wealthy mindset? What is it really? You know, I know now I like to learn from first principles. So I like to understand the foundational building blocks to something if I'm really trying to get into it. And so that's what the quantum wealth theory is about. It's using the neuroscience about how our brain wants to seek reward and avoid pain, seek pleasure and avoid pain. It talks about the behavioral psychology, why we want to keep up with the Joneses. And it talks about the quantum physics, which is just the study of energy at the smallest level, and how observing our behavior, how our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions emit energy, energy signature that's just as real as anything physical in our universe, because everything is made up of this energy. And so paying attention to our thoughts, our beliefs, our ideas, our feelings about money are just as important as budgeting and making sure you pick the right loan product.
So basically, you know, I like to, if you look up the word curse, it's like a constant repetition of a word on something. So, you know, people curse you. You know, back in the day, they said, "Don't curse me." And then we use curse words. You say, you know, a word that is not good. So you know, your grandma, you say, "Shit, damn." Your grandma like, don't be cursing. But that's not the curse. The curse is when you are constantly throwing a word on a person nonstop. You're cursing them.
Yes.
So when we walk around and talk about I'm broke, you're cursing yourself. You're
literally
constantly cursing yourself. I ain't broke.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's something that we have to keep in mind. And and it's like, even on the emotional level with money, I personally, I like to say I've had my seasons of having an abundance, and I've had my seasons of not having an abundance. And the seasons of not having an abundance has been like worthiness. You know, am I a worthy individual? Am I worthy? Am I, you know, we are just as good as we are able to take care of ourselves. So when you're not in a position to properly take care of yourself, you know, you start to feel a certain way behind it.
Let me add on to that, because what you just said, I love that you use curse and emphasize the definition part where it says constant, because like spelling, like we cast spells every time we speak. So we talk about like we talk in the science of affirmations at this point, and the subconscious mind is the root cause of all this stuff here. I haven't used that language, but trust me when I say all of this that we're talking about comes down to updating the programming of our subconscious mind. Because from 0 to 7, age 0 to 7, it's being programmed. We're in 100% theta hypnosis mode. We're a sponge taking it in. But just because we're done in that state doesn't mean we can't update that programming. And so when you talk about repetition, paying attention to the language, and visualizing our North Star vision, which is our ideal lifestyle we're designing, not some cookie cutter American dream. When you put these things together, it deals with the brain in a certain way that allows you to see that imagery. You can feel it with your 5 senses. You're giving your reticular activating system the input from those 5 senses, and your brain doesn't know the difference between a past memory that you're visualizing and a future scenario that you're visualizing. And that's why it's important to really paint that picture. But to wrap it up, you talk about worthiness. Oh, dang, it's 10:02. Okay. So I met you during a time, or at least we got reacquainted when I was in real estate full time.
Yes.
And when I was in real estate, you know, we were in residential, we made some money from the flips and the wholesales. But once we transitioned to the commercial side, the cash flow runway got a little longer. And so when we switched over, there was a time where I never made less money in my life, but I was like 4 years into this quantum wealth mindset work. So it was like the perfect opportunity for me to really work on my mindset and know that my true wealth wasn't defined by the dollars in my bank account. It was about the knowledge I had, the value, my partnerships. And that was a real time where I felt the wealthiest, even though I had the least amount of money in my bank account. And
Wow.
you talk about worthiness and just knowing that, and especially like a fiat debt-based system, and like the fiat dollar really doesn't mean a whole lot. It's like what you can use with it. Like when you come down to all of that, it really challenges you to rethink that programming about money being the goal.
Well, I really enjoy that. First of all, I just want to say this isn't the end for us. We're going to do this again, and we're going to do this frequently. And one of the things I want people to understand is that this sister has told you that she's just not someone, who's talking money through social media aspects. She says that I have an accounting degree. I have a master's in finance. So she's just not talking about money. She has studied it. She has studied all of this as it relates. This is her expertise. So please make sure you keep up with her, Asia. Let the people know where they can find you.
Absolutely. So I'm on LinkedIn, Asia Kirkendall, my first and last name. And then on Instagram, AsiaK.247. Those are the best places to find me.
Okay. And if people have questions or if they want you to do a workshop, you and your team, don't hesitate to reach out to her. She is the real deal. I personally want to stay on this quantum wealth theory because, life has these different transitions where you go, you just go through financial transitions. I had a strike in my industry in 2023. So we didn't work for a whole year. So with that being said, it's one of those things where it was like, okay, you got to pull out your 401k. You got to figure this out. It was definitely a time. And then after those kind of things happen, you have to recover. So if you are a person who's going through anything financially, I just want to let you know that you're not alone. A lot of people go through different changes in their finances all the time. You don't have to feel like, you are the only one. You are not failing. This is a part of life process. Really quickly, you guys, Asia have given you exactly where you can find her. And as you know, this is brought to you by flynubianmoney.com. If you want to keep up with the queens on the network, you have Constance Carter, who goes on at 11. You have Fly Nubian Queens, who goes on at 1 o'clock, Monday through Friday. So text Queens to 87948 to keep up with great conversation as well as great content, healthy, wealthy content as well. Also, I would just like to say that this is the Madam President Morning Show. As you know, every day we do this Monday through Friday at 9:30. It's always a pleasure to see you. I'm always going to bring real news, bold truth, and I am 100% politically incorrect. You can find me on all social media platforms, Madam President. Thank you, Asia, for being here with us. I'm going to end our live.